Ya, pero me voy a Alemania.
Cállate, imbécil. Streaming in school, guys.
This is not a Dino Pablo video.
This is not a YouTube prank, guys.
Okay, este no tiene sal. Ya, pero me voy a Alemania.
Cállate, imbécil. Streaming in school, guys.
This is not a Dino Pablo video. This is not a YouTube
Estoy haciendo un live stream. Yo, I'm live streaming. I'm live streaming. Estoy haciendo un live stream. I'm live streaming. Vamos. Sexo duro, sexo duro. We have to go nowhere. Hello, welcome back. Oh, please come. Hello, welcome back. Bye. Wait, do we have who has science now? Why are two class? Okay. Wait, do we have who has science now? Why are two class? Okay. Wait, do we have? Nobody walk in the street. Bro, stop, shut up, bro.
Oh, Prime Ryan?
Facts.
When Quinn left, it was your time to take over as Grade Clown.
Facts. I'm streaming, bro.
Streaming in school, bro. Bye. You're tardy, nerd.
Just sit there, bro.
No, me la quitó. Nico me la quitó.
Exactly, bro.
Ya va a empezar mi amigo su cara.
Okay, hi people.
Hi.
So, please read the directions up here for the do now.
Do now.
Rock, paper, scissors tournament. What's that?
You have a 33% chance.
Tell him.
What's,
I'll let you win.
Oh my god.
what's rock, paper?
Paper, I'll
Hey,
drive.
Ryan, your seat is here.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
So don't say sorry, my bad. Just don't treat me like I'm stupid.
Okay, my bad. Oh, shut up. How?
It's kind of like you. It's like opposite. It's weird. I'll tell you.
So guys, last time we met, I told you that this isn't working right. Figure it out. Okay. So I have almost a full class.
Who's missing?
Milo.
Oh my god, bro.
I am missing Amanda.
He's in Miami.
No.
Right? Just Amanda. Yes, Lydia.
Do you have an extension for the,
No.
Is it today?
For the one that you've had all week to work on?
I only get 1 hour screen time after school.
Okay, but you've had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
When I
And
bet
I
that
had
I'm future.
to get one of those days.
Yeah, man, that's
You'll find time. You'll make it work. Okay. So, as a reminder, thank you, Lydia, for the reminder. Your video presentation is due on Friday at the beginning of the day. A couple of things that I've had to address with other classes. Number one, if you prefer to create a video on a different format, like not on Flipgrid and send it to me, that's perfectly fine. Number two, if you are the kind of person who desperately wants to get up in front of the class and present here, instead of sending a video, you need to talk to me individually and we'll set that up. I have a couple people in a different class who are willing to do that. But the video is due Friday. Yes. Okay.
Can I not be grading on like a story about the person, like on like the topic on that I'm trying to cover all that?
So if you don't want to include a personal, like a story about someone, that's fine. That's just like a suggestion for one
Very hard to find them.
Okay. So here is the first thing we are going to do today. Please listen. Sorry, I interrupted you, Sophia. I apologize. Don't make this a problem. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do today is play rock, paper, scissors. But there's more to it than that. Okay, so first we have to go over the rules of rock, paper, scissors. The rules of rock, paper, scissors. Some people play like rock, paper, scissors. That's wrong. You have to get to shoot. So rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay? So what's going to happen is you are going to, in a moment, stand up, mingle, talk to each other, make a new friend. I don't know. Like say hi to somebody, ask how their weekend was. And then I'm going to tell you to partner up. Okay, don't start playing rock, paper, scissors early. You're going to partner up with someone. So if Ryan is my partner, Ryan, come on up. And Ryan and I play rock, paper, scissors. So we are partners. Everybody else has a partner. You ready?
Yes.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, okay, so Ryan wins.
No, me.
Okay, so what happens next is Ryan goes and looks for another winner. I follow Ryan around and cheer for him. I am now his like cheerleader. Let's go, Ryan. Okay. And then Listen. So Ryan then goes up against Luca, who beats Samuel. And so Ryan, when he beats Luca, the two of them join me as his cheering group. And his cheering group grows and grows and grows. Okay, sit down.
What happened if you
This
lose?
is somebody please beat Ryan. Don't let this happen.
No! No!
So, his cheering section continues to grow. If you lose, you're out, and you have to go cheer for that person, and everybody who's cheering for you has to cheer for that person as well. Eventually, we'll be down to 2 people, each with a hopefully large cheering section. And those 2 people will go against each other, and at that point, it will be best out of 3. So you have to win 2 out of 3. But all the first rounds, it's just one time. You play one time, either you win or you lose. Yes, Anton.
If it is a tie, we play again, right?
Yes, so like we both did rock the first time, so we win again. Yep.
So if you have children,
What happens if the person that loses has like 5 people behind them?
Then they all have to go cheer for that person as well. So
What if you
lose? Like if I have 5 people behind me and I'm.
what happens if you lose?
Can I answer the question at hand first?
Yeah.
So, if I have 5 people behind me and I go against you and I lose, I have to cheer for you, but all of them go cheer for you as well. So your crowd grows by like all of my people. Yeah.
Wouldn't an easy way to win just be like don't play against anyone until the last round?
have to have
but
a
play
partner.
against one person, like against everyone.
Yeah, and then you have no crowd, and that's not fun.
Yeah, you want to cheer.
But then if you win, then you just like win the whole game.
Yeah, but that's no fun. Okay,
What if you lose the first one?
then you're out. Then you just cheer. Okay, get up, mingle, talk to people. Make feel We're not playing yet. Talking to people. Okay, find a partner.
Yo, let's go!
Find a partner. And go. Begin. All of you guys are behind Luca. Okay, wait.
The final one.
So Ryan and Nico's whole group is getting behind Luca
Bro,
because they
Nico!
can't figure life out.
No, you didn't! Everyone,
guys.
raise your hand if you think Nico.
Ryan, Nico. Right now, I don't care. You guys get behind Luca. Luca against, who is it from this group? So, who won?
No, it is a very
You won the first one, but this is best out of 3. So it's 1-0. Luca for the win.
How did you win?
Okay.
What is it?
Wow. So yesterday, was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Yesterday, so my son goes to like an after-school thing here with a bunch of other they're mostly like kindergarten and first graders, and they were sitting playing a game, like a game where they just had a spinner and they had to move the number of times or whatever. But somebody won, and it was really like funny to watch how angry and sad all the other kids. Like there were kids like crying, and like one of them, her mom came in to get her, and she turned and hit her mom.
Bro, that happened to
Somehow,
someone.
it appears that some of us get
Nothing.
really over competitive over things like rock, paper, scissors.
No, Ryan
Okay.
literally lost.
I won.
So, nice work, Luca, our undisputed clear champion.
Yay!
Wasn't even close. Okay. So guys, a few things I want to just quickly talk about. I'm doing this in a different order than last hour, but I think it'll look fine. Number one, again, the homework, the presentation. Please get that done by Friday. Please.
Wait.
Get up early one morning if you have to and work on it. Like I get up at 5 every morning. You can do that too for one night. Okay.
Why you get up at 5, Victor?
No. Because I like to do it early. I take my dog for a long walk and enjoy it's like the only hour of my day that I get for just me.
Yeah.
So I need that time. Yes.
No.
I want to read like a
8 a.m. Like when school starts on time.
Yay!
Okay. So please get that done. The second thing, and this I want to spend a few minutes on, and I really want like everyone's attention on this. Yesterday, for the first time, I had the privilege of supervising snack break in the cafeteria. And so I spent 20 minutes observing, like an anthropologist or something. Like I was observing humans in their natural environment, natural habitat. And I noticed some things that really, like, they've been bothering me for the last 24 hours. So, three things that I want to just bring up for your attention and in the hope that you guys can help make this better. So thing number one, I only saw it happen like a couple of times, but there were a couple of people who tried to steal food or drinks.
Did you tell them that they can't?
I did. I made them go pay, and one of them got really grumpy with me. Like, people, things aren't free. Like, we know that, you know, and everybody knows that it's wrong to go in there and steal. Please don't do it. Don't give me I forgot to pay. No, you didn't. You didn't forget to pay. You didn't go get a bag and carry the bag out and forget to pay. Like I had people go fill a thing with a drink, with juice, drink a little bit of it, and then set it down and try to walk out. And they tried to argue with me that, well, I decided I didn't want it after all. No, you poured it, you drank some of it. Like, they can't just dump it back in and resell it. So, just be aware that, like, this world is an extension of the real world. You can't do that at the grocery store. You can't go into a restaurant and order dinner, and they bring you your hamburger, and you take a couple bites and be like, I decided I don't want it, and walk out without paying, right? Like, you can't do that. So, none of you in here were part of that, and I don't believe any of you would, but I'm just like bringing it to your attention. The other two things are more pressing, more concerning, and bigger deals in my mind. Okay, so the second thing that I saw that had me really concerned was the prevalence, that means like how common it was, of people just like cutting in line in front of people. And what would happen is there's this line of about 30 people, and Rodrigo's almost to the front of the line, and so I would go up there and be like, Rodrigo, what's up, bro? You know, and like, hey, what's up, man? And then stand here for a minute and talk to him, and be like, oh, yeah, I'll order. Yeah, come on, give me food. And I watched about 15 people do that yesterday, and it was interesting to me to watch the people who had been standing in line for 10 minutes just like look sad as they watched another person and another person and another person go in front of them and like talk to their friends and then take all the food. Okay? And for a lot of us, we're like, that's not that big of a deal. Like my friend was up there and I just went and I just got one thing. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's not a big deal until 15 more people do it. And somebody has been standing there in line this whole time watching all the food that they want disappear while all of these people come take it. So, again, I know most of you aren't doing that. And I say most because in this case, there is some of that in this classroom. And it was almost 100% 7th and 8th graders. I didn't see any 6th graders doing it, and I would love for our 6th graders not to learn these bad habits. as they continue to move up. So, get in line, stand in line, wait your turn. Yes?
I saw sixth graders do the same thing.
You did? Yesterday?
Clearly, yes.
Yesterday, no, but like.
So yesterday, I only have seen this one time. Like, I observed just
But it
yesterday.
happens all the time.
And yeah, I'm sure that like what I saw yesterday was a normal thing. I want this to become not the normal. Like, this should not be the norm. We should not live in a, like, or be in this community together where certain people, based on who their friends are or how popular they are or how just aggressive they're willing to be, get to go to the front. Yeah.
That's how the world works.
It's not. It's not how the world, and is it how you want the world to work?
No, but I'm kind of his.
Okay, so-
Society.
But let's make it better. I've been in a lot, here's the thing, I've worked in a lot of schools, in a lot of places, and I've never seen that. That to me is not like how the world works, that's entitlement. That's people who just like have been told their whole lives that they're special and that they get what they want without regard for the other people who are doing it the right way. Don't punish the people who are doing it the right way.
Here, like, a lot of people, like,
Right, so,
they say I'm stronger than you, so give me.
right, so the best thing to do would be like, start to fix it.
How do you know
Be
how much-
better than that.
It's difficult.
But, like, I'm speaking to every 7th grade class that I have, and if it can start to change a little bit, it can start to change. Okay, hang on though, yes?
Wait, so you've been in schools where that doesn't happen? I've been
Every
to, like,
school I've been in
5
except this one.
schools, and every single time that happens. In my old school,
That makes me sad. Like, my last school, you could walk into the lunchroom and, like, at lunch and just watch people stand calmly in line. Even the people who were at the very back and who only had 3 minutes to eat at the end because they got there and they got in line.
Yeah, same.
I think part of that comes down to like a lack of adult supervision and a lack of adults stepping up and saying this isn't okay, so that's part of what I'm trying to do. But I think like, it's not gonna change unless we draw attention to it and people start to change it.
Yeah, in my old school it was different.
I did. I told them like the back of the line is right back there, you can go stand
Mundo
back
de
there.
los niños.
But unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep up because people just kept going. Okay, Anton.
Yeah,
Because I want to get to the third thing.
like in my old school, what happened is that or both friends make the line at the same time, or that in behind we were like really people hated that people do that, so they nearly get mad. The whole line gets mad and shouts at this person that even tries to do that.
Yeah, and I didn't see that here. I just saw people like, oh, here's another person just moved up there. Okay, the third thing is the thing that has me most concerned about. So, the stealing is very minimal. I only saw a couple people try it. The cutting in line, I think, is problematic. The third thing, like, it was difficult for me not to stand up on the counter and just start yelling. So, what I saw is there were either 2 or 3 cafeteria workers, like behind the thing, getting food for people. And what I observed was this mass of middle schoolers standing at the thing, crowding in, yelling at them, 2, give me number 2, I want 2, and grabbing sacks and walking away. Like this massive crowd. To me, what I saw is and again, not everybody, but this mob mentality that those people on the other side who are here to serve us don't have the dignity or don't deserve the respect of being human beings like the rest of us. And that like literally like was hurting me. It was hurting me to watch a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds teach these or treat these adults like trash. Like those, like all of the people who work here and all the people here are people who deserve our respect and do they deserve dignity. I don't understand why we can't walk up there and say, can I have number 2 please? Thank you. And walk away. Okay, I tried to count while I was doing other things and it was really easy because I heard exactly one person say thank you. Now, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen more. I like full disclosure, I didn't stand and listen to everyone, but I only heard one thank you.
I would say thank you.
Who said thank you?
What?
Who was the person who said thank you?
I don't remember. But like, and I took notice.
Emiliano.
But I don't remember. But like, say please, say thank you. Don't shout at people. Don't yell. Don't crowd around. Like, that's intimidating to have a whole bunch of people crowding around you, yelling at you, pointing at what they want. Those women were like working so fast to try to fill everything, and people were just getting angrier and angrier because they weren't getting their food quickly enough. Be better, please. Yes, Nico.
Maybe I think thank you in Spanish is like
I heard it in Spanish. That like I heard one person say thank you. Yes.
It's like it goes back to the point of like the people. What was the second thing? The people cutting his line.
Yeah.
Because like the entitlement thing, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all just like we need to respect each other. We need to respect all of the people here. Have a mutual respect for everybody, and we can have a better community. Like all of this extends to what I see in the hallways and what I see out on the pitch, like during lunch break. When I see almost every time I'm out there, 7th graders almost getting in fights, or like it's close every day. I'm not sure if there's going to be a fight or not. And people walking through the hallways with their masks down like this, like all of that is just having respect for everyone else in our community, or not having respect for them. And I think we can all do better, myself included. Like we all need to think, am I being respectful to everyone who I come in contact with? So, let's all try to be better. I'm going to try to be better. I'm going to encourage other people to be better. I would ask you to encourage other people to be better. If one of your friends tries to come up and cut in line with you, I know it's difficult. They're your friend, but I think it's okay to say, hey, you have to go to the back of the line. Like, they're not going to hate you forever. They'll get over it. But think about all those other people who have done it the right way and who are standing there waiting. Okay. Whew, that went longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. All right. Today, yes.
How long should the Flipgrid video be?
The Flipgrid video should be
5
long
minutes.
enough for you to get your point across. I would say like if it's 30 seconds, you're not getting your point across. I put a max of 5 minutes, and I don't think you should probably need 5 minutes. I would say like 2 to 3 minutes is probably good, and if it's a little more or a little less, that's okay.
Where's like the Flipgrid thingy? Like the
It's on
assignment?
Google Classroom.
Okay.
On your stream, it should be the second thing on there now.
Does this go towards like the communication rate?
Yes, but it's for this semester. It's for the new semester. Okay. Last time we met, actually the last couple of times we have met, we have been talking about the big question, what surprised me? Today we're going to move on from that to question number 2. But before we do, at your table, just to make sure we're all using the same language, will you really quickly, Rodrigo, you can close the computer. Like last time I closed it for you, we didn't need it, we still don't need it. In fact, you're not going to need it today. You can just put it away. So, will you please discuss the first 2 questions up here? What is nonfiction? And what are some things that we need to remember when we're reading nonfiction? Go, talk to your people.
I think nonfiction is something that. Wait, we already did this. Nonfiction is something from a person's point of view.
Something that you read. Nonfiction is when something is.
Strategy number 1.
Not fiction. Nonfiction is something that's not fiction. What did the author think I already knew? No, that's for, I think, when we do the read aloud. Strategy number 1 is... Bro, ¿te recuerdas las cositas verdes? No sé. Déjame ver.
Okay. So, let's start with question number 1. And I heard a couple of groups like backtrack and say, oh, wait, no, we talked about this. So, what is nonfiction?
Something that's not
What is
fiction.
nonfiction? Anto? Okay, so we're going to start with that definition because we started there last time. It's something true or something that's real or something that's a fact. And then we fixed that a little bit. So
Yay.
So we said that it's like the author thinks that they're telling you, or claiming they're telling you.
yeah, so it is something that an author thinks is the truth or claims is the truth.
that it teaches you about something, but you don't know if it's true or not. Like,
So,
it's about the world, but you don't know.
About driving,
so
about
nonfiction is about the world, about real events, about true things, but it is someone attempting to tell us the truth, right? It's someone saying I'm telling the truth. Okay, so what are some of the problems that come up? Some of the things we need to think about along the way.
It's like bias.
Okay, bias is one thing. So bias is a huge, huge deal. And thinking specifically, like, for
Religion.
example, if you've been paying attention to the Russia-Ukraine conflict that's happening, okay, you're going to tell that story differently based on if you consider yourself more on the side of Ukraine or more on the side of Russia. You're going to say, oh, it's Russian aggression and Russia's trying to take over Ukraine, or you're going to say, oh, it's Ukraine that is breaking like these promises, and the rest of Europe and the Western world breaking these promises. So Ukraine and Russia, what's happening right now?
If Russia wants to make Ukraine.
Yeah, well, maybe. So Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union back during like the Cold War era, and since then it's become its own country. It's a democracy, but it has like a lot of the people in Ukraine have close ties still to Russia. So a few years ago, Russia basically like took over a small part of Ukraine that was like especially filled with a lot of people who had close ties to Russia. And now there's concern that Russia is going to invade Ukraine and try to not like make it part of Russia, but to put like political leaders in charge of Ukraine who are friendly with them. Like a military coup kind of thing. But the Western world, like most of the rest of Europe and the United States, and places like that, want to back up Ukraine and keep their like democratically elected leaders in place. So it's this like interesting, super like worth paying attention to. That it could blow up into a big deal. But depending on your bias, back to what the thing brought up, depending on your bias, you might write that story differently. What other things do we need to pay attention to? Like aside from just bias. Go ahead, Nick.
Maybe that the country doesn't let, or the paper he's working, the report he's working for, doesn't let him like write something.
Okay, so like now you're talking like now we're hearing like China stuff like sometimes. So yeah, where like certain perspectives are silenced or certain things aren't allowed to be put out there. Good.
Like that political party, but is that like biased or no?
Political party absolutely would be like it would influence bias, definitely. It would be like a part of that bigger picture.
Like sometimes it could be like fake, so like it could be exaggerated.
Okay, and it can be fake, it can be exaggerated, but also like sometimes we just have bad information. Sometimes we think we know something and we actually don't. Like we have misconceptions. So another thing to think about is history and nonfiction is written by people who either were there or who talked to people who were there or read books by people who were there. But people who were there, witnesses aren't always reliable. Sorry, say that again?
So like for example, dinosaurs, no one was alive to them, so we based it off of fossil. So those facts they might not be true.
Well, and our facts about our understanding of dinosaurs continues to change, right?
Yeah.
Like even recently. But even if we think about something simpler, like you are at the supermarket and you witness a robbery. Somebody robs the place, they take money, they run out, they jump into a car and drive away. Police, like they've done studies on this, when police come to interview witnesses, if they interviewed 6 different witnesses, they might get 6 completely different stories, including 6 different car colors that the person drove away in, 6 different descriptions of the person, tall, short, skinny, big, racial, hair color, like no hair. Like they might get 6 completely different stories. That's not that those people are lying, it's just that we don't always notice the same stuff. So, when we're reading nonfiction, we have to go into it with some skepticism. We can't just say, oh, this is nonfiction, therefore it is true. We have to say, this is nonfiction, therefore it is someone's attempt to tell me the truth based on their perspectives and their bias. Okay, so, look at this picture. Just think about it. What do you think is going on here? I know it's kind of hard to see. If you need to get up and get closer, that's fine.
People with gas masks going with buckets to milk cows.
Is that the gas ball?
Or to milk cows. Or to milk carrots.
Yeah, I think it's. Well, those are.
Slightly better, maybe? Okay, talk to your people. What's happening here, do you think?
Soldiers with
Those
vests.
are kids.
Those masks, I don't know, but those masks are really creepy.
No, they're not kids.
Sorry. That shit is fire, bro. They made a Fortnite skin about it. That's based off of
Luca. Luca.
It might be buckets of milk, it might be buckets of
Ponte,
water.
I want to hear some ideas. Jordan, give me one.
Could be people escaping from a gas bomb, and the reason they're holding buckets is they put some of the stuff they own inside the buckets.
Okay, grab a bucket, throw your possessions in, and run away from the chemical weapon attack. Ria?
We think that because they're wearing gas masks, they're involved in some sort of chemical reaction or experiment.
Okay. So yeah, maybe like a chemical experiment or something, like an experiment gone wrong maybe, or something like that. Good, okay.
I think like in World War I, because the use of chemical warfare was very prevalent. But also, it was also used in like Eastern Europe. Like that's what.
Yeah, so like World War I era, chemical weapons kind of became a thing, like a more common thing. Okay, when I first saw this, I was like, is this just a really, really bad group trick-or-treating like costume, or maybe a horror movie? Like I could see this being a horror movie. But what this actually is this is post-World War I and before World War II. This is British military.
I knew it.
Practicing. This is a drill where they are practicing a chemical weapon attack. So several of you were basically on the right track. After World War I, chemical weapon attacks became this big problem. And so these are British military people training just in case they're involved in a chemical attack. World War I and World War II brought about a lot of interesting, strange things like this. So like when I was in, was it probably Budapest? I think it was Budapest. I was doing this tour and they were talking about these bunkers. So in like much of the world, there were, and during the Cold War, this came later on during the Cold War, there were bunkers where like people were afraid that there's going to be a nuclear attack and the world's going to be destroyed, but if we get into this bunker, we can survive for a while. So in Budapest, they had bunkers, but not very many of them, and only for probably like the elite. So what they taught children to do, like in school, and taught the general public to do, was if a nuclear bomb drops, like if you see this bomb drop somewhere, you should lie down on the ground with your head away from the bomb so that your head is further away from it.
From a nuclear bomb.
Yes.
Like in World War II when Hiroshima and all that.
It's the most ridiculous thing, right? Like, okay, if a nuclear bomb happens there, if I'm standing here, I'm going to die. But if I lie down and my head is there, and my feet are here, my feet are closer, and my head's further away.
How do they practice for atomic bombs?
They
don't.
You know, it's kind of like where I came from. We would do tornado drills, and we would sit next to the wall.
But the first atomic bomb in World War II that ended it was like deleted a whole city.
Yeah,
So
right?
yeah, they can't do anything.
Yeah, you're not going to be safe. So they did these things to make people feel better, like, oh, there's a way to maybe be safe.
Guided missiles.
Okay. But when we look at this picture, we had a lot of different ideas, but we lack information. We don't have enough information to fully understand what's going on here. And unfortunately, often you could image search it, and so exactly. So unfortunately, authors don't always give us everything we need. So our second question that we want to think about is, what did the author think I already knew? So often when we are reading a text, or when we're watching a movie, or we're watching a show, we'll see something and we'll be like, wait, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. I don't, like, what does that even mean? The problem there is that the author made assumptions that you knew things that you don't actually know. And so they wrote it assuming you know, maybe like they assume that you know that this is the type of gas mask that the British military would have worn. Or you know that these kind of clothes were post-World War I clothes. Like if you don't know that stuff, you might not be able to put these pieces together. So, this might come about because there are words. Like a lot of times we come across vocabulary that we don't know. And if you don't know that word or you don't know that phrase, then you can't understand the rest of the article. Or maybe you can't picture it in your mind, or you just don't have prior knowledge about that topic. This happens, in my mind, often with sports. How many of you have ever sat down, like you're at a friend's house or something, and you're watching a sporting event on TV, but it's a sport that you don't know anything about, and you're completely lost? Has anyone ever been in that situation? Like, I tried watching rugby. I had this friend from South Africa, and he wanted me to go watch rugby with him. They were playing New Zealand, I think, and he was really excited about it. And I'm trying to watch, I'm listening to all the words that the announcers are saying, and none of it was making sense. At that time, like the word scrum, I didn't know, like, what's a scrum? That's like a weird word that I didn't understand. So yeah, it's like when they're all like, if you watch rugby, I don't know enough yet, but like when they're all like piled up trying to like push each other around. But if you don't know the sport, it's really difficult to watch and understand what's happening. Those of you who don't watch American football, I mean, it's probably most of you, like, if you don't, will any of you try watching the Super Bowl in a few weeks?
Me, I always see it.
And yeah, you might watch the Super Bowl.
Shut up, you don't watch the halftime concert. Sí, por el halftime concert.
Plays or things, you have no idea what they're talking about. So,
What the thing, bro?
El deporte y que cool.
wait,
Luca.
Wait, Magnus. Okay. So, out of curiosity, put it right. Okay, out of curiosity, who are my chess players in here? Okay, so I have.
Bro, I'm so good. I'll beat you, bro.
About half. Okay.
Bro, I'm better than you. I'm really good. Same. Bro, I destroyed you.
Mr. Tony, 1v1.
I destroyed you, bro. You guys, you gave up.
So, people, we are going to watch one of the like greatest chess players in all of history, Magnus Carlsen.
I missed it.
As he breaks down, like he's going to talk about a game of chess that was played on a TV show called The Queen's Gambit. And so,
I've seen
The
it.
Queen's Gambit is
Well,
like
I
a
guess.
super, like if you're, I don't know, it's a cool show. About this like young female chess prodigy. But Magnus is going to break down the game of chess for us. I want you to listen, and I want you to get out like a piece of paper, your notebook would be fine, and something to write with. As you watch, I just want you to jot down. Actually, I'll wait for you. Get out your notebook or a piece of paper and a pencil. Go, go, go.
If our notebooks are not locked, can we get them?
Grab it. I've got paper.
Ryan.
Just grab one and put it in. Because she may have gotten, I know like she. The things that stand out to you as like, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense.